Welcome to the inside of your head.
Hi, this is Simon and welcome to another Marvelous Videos. Judge Dredd is one of the most popular and well-known characters for being in favor of law enforcement as well as a judicial protector of Megaciy-1. As much as we would like to talk about him more, we have a very interesting character related to him who is simply a kick-ass persona. We are talking about none other than the psychic partner of the legendary Judge Dredd, Judge Anderson, created by John Wagner and Brian Boland. The character is a valued member of the PSI division of the Justice Department of Megaciy-1. With her bravery and abilities, she can sense approaching danger and foresee events of the near future. The character's popularity with readers led her to starring in her own series, Anderson PSI Division. So in today's episode, we'll be exploring every detail about her hell of a personality and take a peek at all the other details. But before we proceed, we have a very small request. If you like our content, then do like this video and subscribe to our channel. And with that, let's get straight into the video. Exploring the origins and backstory of Judge Anderson. Anderson was originally introduced as a supporting character to Judge Dredd, but it was soon enough that she became a prominent character in her own right, starring in her own spin-off comic series, novels, and video games. Anderson has made her appearance in various adaptations such as the 2012 film Dredd, in which she was played by Olivia Thirlby. The character is well known as a psychic judge in the Megaciy-1 justice system, which is set in a dystopian future where judges act as police, judge, jury, and executioner. Born in a lower-class family, Cassandra Anderson grew up in a slum near the radiation boundary in Megaciy-1. Her parents passed away due to cancer when Anderson was only 7. At a very early age, she was an orphan with no parental figure in her life. She decided to shoot her shot in the aptitude test at the age of 9, but it only resulted in failure. However, she eventually entered the program through special instruction. If only we were this lucky, right? Anyway, so she continued to struggle in the academy due to her younger age, but her potential as a psychic was not overlooked. Soon enough, it drew Chief Judge's attention, and he instructed Judge Dredd to evaluate her abilities in the field. During their evaluation, they responded to a call of multiple homicides at a drug manufacturing den in the Peachtrees block. Anderson's psychic powers helped uncover the identity of the killer named Kay. Not only this, but she also shined light upon the true intention behind the operation. This led to the exposure of the drug lord Mama and our armed men, who wanted to kill Anderson and Dredd. Several judges were brutally harmed by Mama's army on the 76th floor. The chaos did not stop there, but it went to the extent of taking the lives of many residents. With her psychic abilities, Anderson was able to figure out that Peachtrees was the place where the production and distribution of the drug were taking place. As the mission went forward, Anderson proposed that Dredd and her should be in the hiding and wait for backup, but Dredd had other plans and refused her idea. He then decided to pursue Mama. In the meantime, Kay tried to shoot Anderson with her own gun. Her gun is programmed in a way that if it fails to recognize the DNA, it will explode in the holder's arm, which is exactly what happened. Taking advantage of this situation, Anderson managed to escape from the place and meet Judge Kaplan. Kaplan is a rogue judge, and it does not take her long to realize her true wicked intentions. Anderson then proceeds to kill her after she reads her mind. Meanwhile, Dredd managed to kill Judge Alvarez, but got severely injured from a shot in the abdomen by Judge Lex. However, Dredd ultimately managed to stall Lex, which gave Anderson quite some time to show up and kill him. Anderson's psychic abilities proved crucial while uncovering the truth about the drug operation, which was quite impactful in establishing her name. As powerful as Anderson's psychic abilities are, it is not only limited to mind reading. Her abilities also include telepathy, precognition, and telekinesis, which she uses to help solve crimes and track down criminals. So how did this hell of a character get introduced anyway? Well, it all started during the event of Judge Death's attack, who is one of the Dark Judges. She fought numerous battles against them, and over the course of time, her bravery has made her a highly valued member of the Psi Division. She stood strong as a valuable member with a great sense of humor. She holds an exceptional grasp over the ability to form personal friendships with other judges, in contrast to the more rigid Dredd. As she had access to Dredd's resourcefulness and tenacity, and the two have successfully worked together on several crucial missions. In one event, Anderson experienced a dreadful crisis when some of the traumatic events of her abusive father flashed in her memory. memories. It is important to note that these memories were initially blocked from her mind by the Division when she got into the Academy of Law, though she understood that the Division wanted to protect her from trauma as she would be more effective without any psychological scars. But hiding the truth was not something she appreciated. The department's attempt to control and manipulate the truth for its own end just did not sit right with her. She was pretty much bumped out and came to the realization that her independence and willingness were somewhat jeopardized by the system she works for. It did not take Anderson long enough to leave the Justice Department, as she was quick to realize that violence and control were ineffective ways to achieve her missions. She soon met her old nemesis, Orlok, and an alien race, and decided to abandon her role as a judge. She chose the path of self-discovery and was all ready to venture into various parts of the galaxy. In The Tale of the Dead Man / Necropolis, Anderson expressed her concerns about the role of the Justice Department, which led her to leave the force. However, she eventually returned to serve the city alongside Dredd. Anderson's experiences have made her a respected figure among younger, less experienced judges. She also faced personal challenges, such as being in close contact with the psychic half-life virus while being in a coma. Though she was rescued by a team of Psi judges, the rescue team had a near-death experience while they were trying to save Anderson. The virus was passed on to another judge named Judge Justine. Judge Fauster even experimented on Judge Justine so that he could possess immortality. Anderson soon discovered that the whole city was at risk and ultimately able to stop the spread. But her increasing age presents an ongoing challenge. Well, if you're not aware of this, she has been facing the challenges of increasing age ever since she got out of the coma. This actually resulted in her age being somewhere close to 50. As a Psi, she could not use any drugs and available treatments to put the drastic aging process on hold. So deep down, she already knew that her days as a judge were numbered. And with that, let's take a peek at our next segment. Judge Anderson got her very own comic book story arc. The Judge Dredd Anderson Psi Division shined a light on the character's very own story arc. It also starts with a flashback scene of a young couple racing to the hospital where the wife is in labor. It was not long enough till they encountered chaos and destruction, which caused by some physically enhanced juveniles who were seen to be rampaging through Megaciy-1. Despite the obstacles during tough times, they somehow managed to reach the hospital, where they gave birth to a baby girl. The girl was named Cassandra Anderson. Now the next scene brings us back to the present, where Anderson received word that the Megapolitan Museum of Modern History might be in danger, and the threat involves a rogue psychic. Although Anderson's interference disrupts their wicked plans, the criminals still manage to pull off the heist. Anderson's search for answers ultimately led her into the cursed Earth, and eventually back to Megaciy-1. Here she was confronted by the events from her own past. Despite Judge Anderson being a well-developed character in the Dredd universe, Smith skillfully introduced several new background details in her story that effectively showcased the Psi judge. Anderson's character is portrayed as a beautiful, resilient, committed, law-abiding individual who is equally competent with Dredd. The narrative progressed smoothly with well-timed cliffhangers that kept the reader engaged and invested in the next issue. This part of the story begins with Anderson standing in a swamp where she gets attacked by a dangerous alligator. Despite her trying to weaken the gator with her psychic abilities, it does not really have an effect on the creature. After a bit of a struggle, Anderson managed to escape from the face of the gator with the help of someone unexpected. It was none other than Judge DeGroot, and she finally got to return to the land. We also got to see a group of telepathic swamp creatures called the Soul Goons. These creatures were able to sense Anderson's distress and fear and decided to intervene to help her in the time of need. The Soul Goons have a unique appearance resembling floating, ethereal jellyfish-like beings with eyes and mouths. With Anderson and DeGroot powers combined together, they formed an astral project in order to look for the criminals. Eventually, they reached a dangerous place where they met with a witness who provided them with important information, along with a name. In the meantime, the Megaciy-1, Anderson was seen to be seeking help from a friend, aka Judge Joyce, who held quite some information on an open case that was vastly related to hers. They shared similar interests with the perps they were after, after, Anderson and DeGroot then track down and captured one of the perps, who reveals the location of the others. We also get to see city's inhabitants are in danger, and Anderson is empathetic towards them. Her character is firm and determined to prevent more deaths. However, it does not take her long enough to realize that they are working for someone far more dangerous. In the next 2 issues, we see Cassandra Anderson encountering various challenges in her pursuit of the elusive mastermind Ashbury, including resistant authority figures and numerous criminal adversaries. The character's abilities were turned inside out when she was captured and tied to a chair, and of course, the deed was done by Ashbury. The antagonist also let her know that he is no less than a monster and proceeded to take over her mind. By doing this, he was able to introduce her to disturbing visuals, human monstrosity. Anderson mocked him, saying that she would have brought popcorn if she knew that this was going to happen. But on page 8, he took her to a place that Anderson just could not believe: her past, the time when she was born. This shocked her to the core as she could see her parents. Her team is quick to realize that they are no longer in connection with Anderson, and in the meantime, she falls in utter distress. Her brain was hollowed and wiped. Anderson is seen inhaling a strange gas that seems to have a numbing effect on her. After this, her powers shortly returned with a burst of energy, which resulted in Anderson being able to overpower her captors and also fight back against Ashbury's minions. The comic ultimately ends with her pulling out a picture of her parents from Cy's personal files. She stared at the photo that was taken on the day that she was born and expressed her feeling of love and distress. Judge Dredd Legends of Lore by DC Comics featured Judge Anderson in an interesting story arc. Judge Anderson also played a notable role in the comic Judge Dredd Legends of Lore. In the first issue, named The Organ Donors, Judge Dredd was seen to be rescuing a bus full of frightened citizens from a gang of bikers. The bikers, led by the notorious crime boss, attempted to take control of the city by force. Judge Dredd fought the gang and eventually defeated them. In the meantime, Judge Anderson had tracked down a mysterious new drug called slow-mo, which is causing people to experience reality in slow motion. This segment ended with Dr. Bliss's henchman offering a ride to the bus victims. The next issue, named The Organ Donors Part 2, The Crack Clinic of Dr. Bliss, highlighted the sinful actions of Dr. Bliss and his clinic. The injured members of the bus ended up at the clinic, but little did they know that he was not an ordinary doctor. Dr. Bliss is an organ harvesting criminal with a penchant for musicals and is determined to carry out his wicked schemes. His name is common in the crime diary, with crimes such as murder, kidnapping, and torture. He only planned to sell their organs and body parts, but in the issue 3 and 4, things took a drastic turn. With a combined effort by Judge Dredd and Judge Quisling, it was not too long till Dr. Bliss was on his knees. Judge Anderson helped both the judges in their mission to apprehend Dr. Bliss. Her assistance proved really helpful in the mission as her psychic abilities allowed her to locate and rescue the missing bus members. Not only this, but she also fought face to face in order to rescue the members who required utter bravery on her part. Her courage and determination in the face of danger are a testament to her strength of character.
Welcome to the inside of your head.
Dredd 2012, the live-action movie, also starred Judge Anderson. Directed by Pete Travis, Dredd was released on July the 11th, 2012. The film featured the character of Judge Dredd as the main protagonist, and by his side was none other than his partner, Judge Anderson. The plot follows a storyline where Dredd and Anderson were sent to investigate some murder in a slum tower block called Peachtrees. It was not long enough until they discovered that the tower is actually the center of slow-mo production and distribution. The drug lord Madeline Mama Madrigal wanted Dredd and Anderson killed, and the two judges had to fight their way through dozens of armed thugs in order to escape. In the meantime, Mama's forces sealed the building and closed its blast shield doors to prevent the judges from leaving or calling for help. Mama then ordered a henchman to find and kill the judges, while Dredd and Anderson did their best to make their way up the tower. As they went towards pursuing Mama, they came across various obstacles and enemies in their path. This included several corrupt judges who have been bribed by Mama. However, despite such challenges, Dredd and Anderson eventually reached Mama at the top floor of the tower, where Mama threatened to detonate the explosives on the top floor. Here, Dredd forced her to inhale slow-mo and threw her down the atrium to to her death. In the end, Anderson left the force after being disarmed by a thug, while Dredd reported to the chief judge with the report that she had passed her evaluation. The film ended with Dredd and Anderson riding off into the city, ready for their next assignment as judges. Anderson's role in the movie adaptation of Judge Dredd was played by Olivia Thirlby, and her portrayal of the character was highly praised by both critics and audiences alike. The actress was praised for her ability to portray Anderson's strength and courage whenever there was a threat present. Some fans also appreciated her ability to make the audience sympathize with the character's emotions and past, so it's safe to say that her performance has been quite the fan favorite in the Judge Dredd fandom. Judge Anderson as depicted in Mitchell Scanlon's novels. Mitchell Scanlon is a well-regarded writer in the science fiction and fantasy genre, known for his work on various comic books, series, novels, and video games. He has written several acclaimed novels, as numerous comics and other tie-in materials. His writing is often praised for its strong characterization, intricate word-building, and compelling narratives that are also reflected in Anderson's character. He holds a talent for creating complex and morally ambiguous characters. Scanlon usually puts the characters in certain situations that challenge the characters' limits and force them to confront difficult ethical dilemmas. This trait was seen in Anderson's role in his writing. Published in February 2006, Fear the Darkness is one of the novels that highlights the character of Judge Anderson. She is the primary protagonist and is tasked with investigating some murders in Megaciy-1 slums. The murders appear to be connected to something bigger than imagined. Further on, Anderson investigated the matter while she not only fought the evil, but also struggled with her own personal demons. She had to face the memories of a traumatic incident from her childhood. These memories and the resulting emotional turmoil threatened to impede her investigation and compromise her ability to do her job, but she ultimately finds the strength to push through and bring the case to a close. One of his other notable writing is Red Shadows, which was published in May 2006. In the story, Anderson is tasked with tracking down a vicious serial killer known as the Red Shadows. The killer has been targeting psychics, and Anderson was obviously a target as she possessed vast psychic abilities. As Anderson delved deeper into the case, she soon discovered that the Red Shadows might have been using some kind of drug to make him almost impossible to catch. The list of victims starts to rise, and Anderson has determined to bring the killer to justice, even if she became his next target. Scanlon's other famous publication is Sin of the Father, which was published in 2012. The story shined light upon a vigilante who calls himself the Street Angel. This villainous figure would target people who it believed were child abusers. He appeared with a mask on and carried a deadly weapon to attack his prey. Despite him having quite a fan base around the city, Judge Dredd and Judge Anderson were determined to bring him to justice. Anderson was soon exposed to the Street Angel himself, and he was a victim of child abuse, so she is seeking against the people who committed similar sins. The story explores the themes of trauma, revenge, and justice while being extremely thought-provoking and emotional.
Sir, it's him.
Him who?
The man who murdered the
What makes Judge Anderson such a valuable asset? We already know how much of a powerful psychic Judge Anderson is, but her abilities range, they're pretty wide. She holds the ability to telepathically communicate with others and is even capable of projecting her consciousness from vast distances into other people's minds. Not only this, but she's also capable of using psychokinesis to manipulate nearby objects, situations, or events to her will. Pretty impressive, right? I mean, if I had this ability when I was 9, things would be pretty different. Oh, and the best part is she can levitate herself and fly in the air if she puts enough energy into it. Her telepathic powers are so strong that she can access the memories of others and dwell in their thoughts. Her combat skills are exceptional, as she is extremely well versed in numerous forms of martial arts and weaponry, so it's safe to say that her agility and reflexes are so fine that as a normal human you don't want to pick a fight against her. Her determination makes her a formidable opponent in any fight. Her character is often independent and is capable of taking on multiple foes at once. Now, let's talk about the most notable part of her psychic power. This part is so advanced that she can access and manipulate the energy of the universe. This even allows her to manipulate the laws of physics. With this ability, she can create pretty strong illusions and control the elements. This is not even the best part. Anderson can also travel through time or space. Lastly, the character of Judge Anderson is so iconic because of her compassion for others. And with that, we come to the very end of the video. Judge Anderson is an exceptional partner to Judge Dredd due to her unique personality and unwavering moral code. Her abilities to set her apart from the other judges and give her a unique perspective on justice. She is portrayed as a strong individual with a firm intuition to get to the bottom of complex situations and crimes. She is also willing to go the extra mile in pursuit of justice and is not afraid to fight. Even the ones in power could not dim her light. So it's safe to say that the character has to be one of the best and most iconic superheroes who deserves all the attention. Do smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, toodaloo.